alouds. Oh, we love our read alouds, and we, like many of you, have done so many of them this year. And today I wanted to share with you what our top 10 favorites are from this past school year. Well, hello, I'm Yael, and I'm a homeschooling mama of 3 mini humans. And if you enjoy videos all about curriculum, resources, and eclectic home learning, you have come to the right place. So be sure to subscribe and enable those notifications so you don't miss what I have next just for you. Picking our top 10 favorite books from this entire school year was no easy task because a lot of the books that we read were so wonderful and we enjoyed reading them. However, these top 10 favorites are ones that left big impressions on my children and even me, and led to some really great discoveries and discussions about our identities, about others around us in our world, and really taught us some good lessons about life. Our top 10 favorite books also run the gamut of different genres. We've got middle grade chapter books, we've got picture books, nonfiction, fictional, and honestly, it was really hard for me to put them in any kind of ranking order. So I'm just gonna go and share with you each of these books in no particular order. This book is the book with no pictures, and it is incredibly fun to read. It's by B.J. Novak. This is definitely one that falls in the category of making us laugh out loud many, many times. And one of our kids' favorite pages is one that says, "My only friend in the whole wide world is a hippo named Boo Boo Butt." Another fun one that the kids really enjoyed, and it was pretty silly, was Dragons Love Tacos. This is by Adam Rubin, and the illustrations are by Daniel Salmieri. It talks about dragons, why they love tacos, and things that you should avoid when you create tacos for a dragon, and it talks about how the dragons love parties, things like that. And the text gives really good clues as to what dragons like. And so there are definitely times where I was reading this to my children and they were able to make good inferences. That's the word I was looking for. They're able to make really good inferences about what's going to happen in the story next. We love all things Eric Carle, and The Grouchy Ladybug was definitely one of our favorites from his books this year. If your child is learning to tell time, this is one that they will get super excited about because it keeps a timestamp of the ladybug's travels to different animals. And it keeps the kids so engaged in their reading because they are just so eager to tell you what time it is when the ladybug arrives to the next animal. And the story is also one that keeps the kids guessing, why is the ladybug going and talking to all these different animals? What are they trying to accomplish? And they make comparisons along the way. It's just one that, again, that my kids just really were very engaged with, and they love this idea of like half pages, smaller pages, leading up to bigger pages because the animals keep getting bigger and bigger that the ladybug talks to. So this is definitely one of our favorites. Penguin and Pinecone. I absolutely love this story. It's such a sweet story. I pulled this out during the winter time, but I noticed that the kids were scouring our bins and our jars and our just all the different places looking for this book at different times of the year. So this is definitely one that resonated with my kids. It's just such an incredibly sweet story about friendship. This is a book that we absolutely adored during the Thanksgiving season, and it's one, again, that really resonated with my kids. It's called My Heart Fills with Happiness by Monique Grace Smith and illustrations by Julie Flett. It was about this little girl and what fills her heart with happiness, and my girls just loved it because they loved talking about what made them happy. And they loved pointing out the similarities between them and this little girl. You know, my girls love to do ballet and just free dance and all kinds of different dancing around the house, but it was so fun to have this entry point to talk about different ways other cultures do dance. and in particular, Indigenous Native American cultures. The Dot. This is such a great book that really inspired my children to think about creativity in a totally different way. And it's one that my oldest daughter in particular really gravitated to. I think she really was able to relate to the main character, Vashti, who does not want to believe that she's an artist in the beginning of the story, but winds up understanding how something as small as a dot can be considered beautiful. And so this opened us up to talking about what counts as art, what counts as being beautiful, and how so many different things we can observe in a new way to see it as beautiful. If you have not read these books or purchased these books or borrowed these books from the library, I highly, highly recommend that you do. It's the Little Leaders series for both Little Leaders, Extraordinary Men, and Bold Women in Black History. These were such inspirational texts for my kids. I love the way Vashti Harrison so beautifully illustrates each character and captures their essence so that it draws the child into the narrative. With my oldest daughter in particular, I could see that as we were reading these stories about these amazing women, especially in the field of STEM, like Dr. Mae Jemison, she felt so inspired and empowered to dive deeper into her interests in terms of STEM and innovation and things like that. I really loved these books and the ways that it inspired my girls to do the things that they love to do, and to also see the amazing contributions that these beautiful Black women and men have made in our history. This is the last picture book that I wanted to share. It's called If You Plant a Seed. It is definitely one that is so simple in terms of the text and the story, but man, it just speaks volumes to my children in terms of what you plant and what you reap when you plant certain things. So this one has definitely taught us to love each other better, and that is something that I really wanted to drive home in my own life and in my kids' lives. Now on to chapter books. When you read aloud a chapter book to a younger child, the beauty of that is that they come into contact with these characters, with this narrative early in their years in an oral sense, and then they have that memory with them. And this is one that they can return to as they get older. The text will grow with them because it's something that they can pick up and read on their own once they get to that level. This is one that we have read most recently, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, part of the Chronicles of Narnia series. And this is one that I read in the 6th grade, I believe. And I didn't know how I was going to feel about it now that I'm older, reading it to my kids. But man, it was a powerful text and my kids got it. I really loved the way that my oldest was able to engage in really good conversations and questions with me about the meaning of this text and what all of the different characters mean, and the setting and how the setting shifts and changes over time, and talking about the overarching theme of good versus evil. What does that actually really mean? This is definitely one that it did not disappoint. Thankfully did not disappoint. This is another series that we read through. These 2 books in particular are the ones that we read through this year. And this is book 1 and 2 of The Secret Zoo. I will say, just from my perspective, I think the first one was more of my favorite. I think the kids really loved both of them. I will say the text is very riveting. The author is Brian Chick, and he does a great job of moving the story forward. If your kids have a major sense of adventure and they love action and things like that, this is definitely something that they will love as well. We have a couple of different storybook Bibles, and I will say that this one in particular, I am so thankful for. I really feel like the way the text is written to reflect the gospel, to reflect the Bible in its entirety is really something that reaches children so well. It's one that I truly can say my children met the Lord with, and they have come to know the Lord on a totally different level because of this book and because of the way it speaks the truth of Jesus. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed today's video. It is such a joy for me to share these books with you because it's sharing such a big piece of ourselves and what we have learned and how we have grown throughout this entire school year. If you appreciated what I shared with you today, please be sure to give this video a great big thumbs up, a like. That really helps to support this channel greatly. Take care, be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.